It was a shiny silver disc, exactly as it appeared, hovering less than 100 feet above my car. When he saw it, I know I was outside because all I could see were stars, and he said they looked like planets. It was illuminating the clouds. It was white. Basically, it was a bright, brilliant light. The object seemed disc-shaped, or something like that. It was really strange. High in the sky, performing all kinds of maneuvers, moving much too fast for an airplane. Definitely not a helicopter, and nothing I'd ever seen before. I never paid much attention to UFO sightings. I'd read about occasional incidents, but my curiosity never really expanded beyond those pocos casos. I just think too often UFO stories focus on the mystery rather than solving that mystery. Plausible explanations get replaced by fanciful embellishments. There's a documentary on Netflix that used that term very loosely about a man claiming to be pursued by aliens. In one scene, someone literally holds up one of those Halloween alien masks to a window, presented completely serio. Oh my god, what the hell was that? Holy shit, what is he doing? We, the audience, are supposed to believe this is a genuine third-degree contact when it looks more like a trick-or-treat encounter. Still, this documentary piqued my interest, so I started learning more about the UFO phenomenon, diving into this expansive mythology I'd only known about peripherally. From the beginning, I was drawn down this complicated path of alien abductions, government conspiracies, and extraterrestrial experiments that seemed like rejected X-Files scripts. But occasionally, I'd come across something slightly more credible stories that were genuinely difficiles de rationalizar. Nothing that would convince me Earth is a galactic resort, but mysterious stories nonetheless. To bring you up to speed, we need to go back to 1947. That summer, newspapers and government agencies across North America were flooded with reports of strange objects in the sky. This UFO craze was triggered by a pilot named Kenneth Arnold. On June 24th, Arnold was flying over Washington's Cascade Mountains when he spotted 9 disc-like objects streaking across the sky. Unbeknownst to Arnold, this innocent description would popularize the term flying saucer. These shimmering discs appeared to be traveling at about 1,200 mph speed no human-made aircraft could achieve in 1947. Arnold initially suspected had witnessed some secret military test flight, but the U.S. Air Force quickly denied responsibility, dismissing the sighting as an optical illusion. But it wasn't that simple. Not only was Arnold an experienced pilot, but his story was corroborated by numerous ground witnesses, who all described oval-shaped objects moving at tremendous speed. Plus, other sightings had been reported days before and would continue for many days after over 800 cases in less than a month, including the famous Roswell incident. Publicly, the Air Force dismissed the sightings as hyperactive imaginations and misperceptions of natural phenomena, but internally they were as mystified as the public and genuinely concerned. Hundreds of unrelated people from all walks of life, including high-ranking military officials, scientists, engineers, politicians, and professional pilots, reported strangely similar experiences within weeks. Both the public and intelligence community became increasingly convinced something was hiding among the clouds. By late June 1947, the Air Force secretly launched a preliminary investigation into the sightings, suspecting some UFOs might be foreign or celestial craft. By September, the existence of advanced aerial vehicles couldn't be ruled out. While most cases could be attributed to natural phenomena, the maneuverability and evasive behavior of some UFOs defied conventional explications.
It was speculated these apparently mechanical UFOs could be part of some ultra-secret military project, either foreign or domestic. There was fear the Soviet Union had seized German technology after WWII and developed advanced aircraft capable of covert infiltration of U.S. airspace. This led to Project Cygna classified investigation to determine if UFOs represented a national security threat. While Project Sign members considered various plausible causes, by summer 1948, a small number of credible, well-documented UFO cases remained unsolved. These became known as the unknowns. Through elimination, Project Sign concluded the most likely explanation for the most inexplicable cases was the extraterrestrial hypothesis. In other words, the unknowns didn't seem to be from this Earth. However, when this report reached the Pentagon, it was rejected. The interplanetary explanation was deemed unfounded, and the report was ultimately discarded. Project Sign was dissolved soon after, and subsequent investigations failed to determine the nature of these unknowns. Project Sign's successor, Project Blue Book, merely concluded it was statistically unlikely UFOs represented technological capabilities beyond ours. Since the vast majority of UFO sightings are misperceptions of natural phenomena, the assumption was all UFO sightings were likely misidentifications. Therefore, UFO research funding could no longer be justified, as the national security threat was evidently non-existent. Government-sanctioned UFO investigation officially ended with Project Blue Book's dissolution in 1969, and the Air Force has since declared the matter resolved. Of the 12,618 UFO reports in its collection, 701 were marked unknown upon conclusion. Some argue many cases were improperly categorized, and over 1,700 should be considered unknowns. While the U.S. government may view these unknowns as mere statistical anomalies, the fundamental question remains: what did people see? What natural phenomenon resists resolution despite décades de escrutinio? On the evening of May 24, 1949, 6 civilians were on a fishing trip along Oregon's Rogue River. Suddenly, one spotted a round, shiny object in the sky. It barely moved while hovering silently about 5,000 feet above. Details were hard to discern with the naked eye, but fortunately one had brought 8X binoculars. The binoculars revealed a clear, distinct metallic craft of unknown design, round and flat, about 33 feet in diameter, with a rounded fin on top. It had a reflective silver surface that appeared slightly dirty. It lacked any conventional propulsion method and made absolutament nenhum sohm. After several minutes of observation, the UFO gradually moved against the wind until disappearing at jet plane speed. What makes this case particularly interesting is that 2 civilian witnesses were also employed at an aeronautical research facility, giving them extensive aviation knowledge. Additionally, the story never reached the public important because if it were a hoax, the perpetrators would likely seek media attention, but witnesses avoided speaking to press. The story remained out of public view for many years, until ufologists discovered case files revealing Project Blue Book dismissively concluded it must have been a misidentified aircraft or weather balloon. So all we need now is a pancake-shaped aircraft or a self-propelled weather balloon unaffected by wind. If you spend any time reading about UFOs, you'll encounter one explanation repeated again and again: weather balloons. The Battle of Los Angeles, balloon, the Roswell incident, top secret balloon, the Mantell incident, once again a balloon. Unfortunately for proponents of the extraterrestrial hypothesis, this is often a quite convincing explanation. However, it's much less convincing when the UFO witnesses themselves are launching a balloon. On April 24, 1949, 5 balloonists had just launched a weather balloon in New Mexico's desert and were observing it with a special telescope when the telescope operator spotted another object. It had an elliptical shape and was white, silver, and yellowish. Its altitude and size were impossible to determine precisely due to lack of reference points, but it seemed extremely high and moved so rapidly it was hard to track. It remained visible about a minute before stopping horizontal movement and disappearing in an quasi vertical ascent. It made no sound and traveled against crosswinds. Shortly before midnight on July 19, 1952, radar scopes around Washington, D.C. picked up 510 unidentified targets. No scheduled flights were in the area, and the UFOs didn't follow established flight paths. Malfunction was quickly ruled out since radar scopes at 3 separate airports displayed identical unidentified targets. Eventually, the objects were visually confirmed as slow-moving light orbs. They spread across Washington's night sky, flying over the White House, Capitol building, and other areas Padros Desorganizados. Numerous times, the UFOs executed 90-degree turns, some reversing course completely in seconds. At a July 29 press conference, Air Force officials claimed temperature inversions were to blame a weather condition where warm air layers trap cold air pockets, causing false radar returns. Visual sightings were supposedly misperceptions of stars, meteors, or unusual light reflections. On April 24, 1964, Officer Lonnie Zamora was chasing a speeding car outside Socorro, New Mexico, when he heard a loud roar and saw a bright flame in the sky. Believing it was an explosion, he broke off pursuit. The flame was blue-orange, descending toward the ground about half a mile away. After navigating rough terrain, he saw a silver-white object about 650 feet away. It initially looked like an overturned car with two figures in white coveralls nearby. The figures seemed alarmed by Zamora's presence, but disappeared after a small hill momentarily blocked his view. Why, despite half the global population carrying high-resolution cameras in their pockets, are high-quality flying saucer videos seemingly non-existent? Its true cameras are more accessible, and video quality has improved significantly, but so has the quality of fakes. Thanks to software like After Effects, almost anyone can create convincing fakes, meaning such videos will never be the definitive proof they might have been decades ago. Even if a credible individual with no VFX experience captured undeniable evidence, its authenticity would inevitably be questioned. Project Blue Book's first director, Edward J. Ruppelt, later wrote about the drastic attitude shift in UFO research after the extraterrestrial hypothesis was rejected. The Air Force no longer sought to understand UFOs, but to debunk the phenomenon entirely, he wrote. Everything was evaluated on the premise that UFOs cannot exist. Following the 1952 Washington, D.C. incident, investigators were instructed to focus only on solvable cases and never discuss the unknowns publicly. What had initially been considered a potential national security threat was now, through an orchestrated PR campaign, reduced to socially unacceptable pseudoscience. After reviewing hundreds of cases, I feel more conflicted than when I started. Things were simpler than I could laugh at a man pretending to fear a Halloween mask. No grand conspiracies, no aliens, none of it. Just mortal fear and a piece of plastic, simpler times.